Yes, sir. We are live. We're back with another episode of Rolam Live. My name is Rolam. I am your host. And today I am joined by the comic book writer, comic book artist, Alex Ortiz. Alex, how you feeling today, man? You good?
Very good, very good. Blessed to be here. So thank you.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're going to talk today. As always, we're going to talk about creativity. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about how it's all connected. But we're also going to talk about Alex's upcoming project that will be launching on Kickstarter in February. I can't wait to talk more about that because I've been watching Alex's work for a while now and just admiring it and marveling at it. And so I'm excited to get a little sneak peek, you know what I'm saying, at what's going on. You feel me? But before we do that, I want to start with the question that I love to ask people first. What is inspiring you right now? What are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you watching? What's getting the creative juices going for you right now?
Oh man, that's tough. A lot of things. Um, right now, I guess mainly it's films that's been inspiring me lately. Um, Me and my wife, we just watched the David movie in theaters, and it was the animation styles, the characters, the colors, just the way the film industry can put things together
Yeah,
and inspire you. It was deep. I would say seeing how people's stories can be told through film is what's inspiring me because that's what it is. Directors and writers of the films and stuff like that. It's basically like a piece of themselves put into film.
right.
That's inspiring me lately. It's encouraging to see.
Yeah, yeah. And that David story, that's by Angel Studios. Did they do that?
Yeah, yeah, they did.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been putting out some good work, especially I think sometimes the faith-based studios and what's the word, faith-based storytellers or whatever, filmmakers, they get
Yeah,
a bad rap sometimes, like the quality of their work. But the last couple of years I've been watching Angel Studios, and they've been doing some great stuff. And David, I haven't seen it, but it looks amazing, like from the trailers and just everything they've been doing. I'm like, yo, they really have and they have a cool business model that they have as well. It seems like a really good operation they have. So
yeah, man.
um, that's
I,
definitely something I want to look into for sure.
I would definitely recommend it to anybody. Just like it, because they did start um from like they did start with like lesser quality work and stuff like that, but then it climbed as they progressed.
Okay.
I would say David, that like set the tone on where they're going moving.
Okay.
That was like on some Disney Pixar level kind of animation. It was crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think for myself, what's been inspiring me, um, I mean, like you said, there's so many things that I could talk about that's been inspiring me. But I saw this post on Instagram. I think it was either yesterday or it might have actually been today when I saw it. But there was a quote in the thread, and it said, um, I'm about to butcher this, but something to the effect of knowing what's possible and not chasing that is the purest form of self betrayal. And I just thought that was just such an interesting quote because, as creators and creatives, we have these dreams and we have these things that we want to do. And I think sometimes, like, we can look around and we can see people doing it, and then we can sell ourselves short and think that, oh, well, they're special. I'm not special. I could never do what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um, so when I heard that quote, that's sort of what I thought about, the betrayal of, the desire and the gift that you have on the inside of you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It really made me. I mean, I've been chasing it. I've been going for it, right? But it made me really think about, like, really, am I doing it? Am I doing everything I can to reach those things that I say I want to reach. You know what I mean? I don't know, just a little self reflection. You know what I mean? Um,
No, that's what those. I do be reading the emails you send out to your
word.
subscribers. I just read that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
There's I know a lot of people, it's probably just like yourself, that have talked about things they actually want to do in life, but they're kind of just stuck in the wheel of
Right.
things.
Right.
Um, I think it just takes people trying new things to find out what they actually
Mm,
what is in them. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
people, I come to realize that people are afraid to do that.
Mm,
So
mm.
it can be self betrayal
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you know what you're gifted at, and then there's also the side of you may not even know what you have.
Right. 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 And I think to piggyback off of that too, people don't want to look. They You don't want to be seen failing, right? You don't want to be seen not good at something, and so you might try, but you don't do it in front of people until you get it to a place where it's like ready to show people. And I think there's a balance that has to be had, right? Where it's like, okay, I need to perfect this and refine this and get this right. But then there's also the side of like, but if I never get going, if I never get feedback, if I never get it in front of people, then it's like, well, it's almost like you need both of those things to move forward. You know what I mean? And sometimes it can be tricky to find that balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Um,
I
yeah.
agree. I think failing in in public is important.
Hmm.
It's because ultimately, when you're at least for me, when you're dream chasing and stuff like that, you're not really just doing it for yourself. You're If you're in it to show somebody something, then you're technically being of service to someone else's life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So failing in front of them is just as important as having something perfected, because they
Mm,
see what they're capable of, and they also learn from your own failures. It's teaching them what step to not step into, and where to turn, where to pivot, and things like that. So the failures are just as important as
mm.
being great at
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. 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 Um, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. Clearly, we could talk about this all day.
Yeah, right.
Um, as you were talking, I thought about something else that I saw earlier this week, and it was about I want to say it was either like Mossad or it might be the IDF. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was some group in Israel. They have this saying where when they don't achieve what they were trying to achieve,
Mhm.
they don't say, "Oh, I failed," or they don't say, you know, "I didn't make it," or "I lost," or whatever. They say, um, I think it was something like "data uploaded." It was something like that, right? So the idea is, I'm not failing. I just learned something, right? This is just information for me to take to my next venture. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget. I used to work at a restaurant called the Flying Biscuit here in Atlanta, and the guy who owned the store, he was also, or the restaurant, he was also the manager. And so he was telling me a story one time, and he was saying when he first opened his first restaurant, his his father gave him the money to open the restaurant, and his first restaurant failed. And so he was like all scared and nervous about what his dad was going to say about, them having to close and things not working. So he went and he had a meeting with his dad, and his dad, they had a conversation, and he just said, "Hey, what did you learn? Like, what was, he answered them and they talked through it. And then he said, okay, cool. Wrote him a check and said, open another one. And it's the idea of, hey, we just going, it's learning, right? It's not game over.
Yeah,
We just going to try this again. You know what I mean? Um, so I don't know. That made me think of that when you were talking. So, um,
it's all a part of the process. Failing
yeah,
guaranteed 100% going to be a part of your process. So you got to get comfortable with it for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so before we get to the questions that I want to ask you, I want to show everybody it is a haven with you. This is, I mean, y'all can see. I mean, y'all see the work. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see the visuals. You know what I mean? Like this is a no brainer. You wanna tell them a little bit about this before we move to some questions?
Yeah, it is a haven with you. This is a coming of age story about realizing your potential, giving up things that are holding you back from progressing in life. I'm dressed up in a steampunk fantasy adventure with dimension jumping and time travel and all that, all the crazy stuff. So,
Mm,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah, this looks amazing. So as you can see, this is the pre-launch page for, as I said, the upcoming Kickstarter campaign that they're going to be running. I guess it's coming out soon in February. Um,
Very first. Yes, sir.
February 1st. The link to this is in the um, not the show notes, but the description of this video. And so definitely, I mean, I know you like what you see right here. So definitely hit that button right there. See, I'm already locked in. Hit that button right there, and you will get a notification for when they launch on February the 1st. And this is something that you are not going to want to miss. Because you wrote and illustrated this, right?
Yeah.
For sure, for
So,
sure.
so I wrote all of the story, the back end, and things like that. And then I have one of my buddies, name's Donovan Wilson. He's not really on social media too much. He helps me put together like some. He'll review and find plot holes. Like, hey,
Mm.
you got to connect this dot with this dot because this ain't working here, and this is going to collapse that. So
For sure, for
he's
sure.
smart like that. So he definitely helps me out a lot. So I do want to give him that shout out there. Um, yeah, so we do all the writing, do all the illustrating. So a lot of hard work and time and
Yeah,
sleepless nights put in there.
for sure, for sure. Real quick, shout out to my guys, Morgan Iverson. What's good, brother?
Yo,
And my guy Wally McNair.
Wally, what's up, man?
Um, yeah, for sure. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. So I guess the where I wanted to start was, I guess, sort of your origin story, right? Like how did you get into writing and illustrating comic books or storytelling in general? Where did that start for you?
That man, I was young. I gotta say, as long as I can remember.
Word.
Um, I've always, man, I don't even remember when I read my first comic book. I know I was
Mm,
obsessed with things like Spider-Man and Spawn is what really kicked off me actually trying to get good at art. Um, it was always like many of us, it was an outlet on how because I lived the only boy in the household. I got two sisters, mom. So I had to find something that kept me entertained. I was the nerd in the class and stuff. Like I wasn't really very outgoing or anything like that, but I did find something that I was good at, and it was art. So when I read comics, I I found a way to tell things that I was thinking, feeling, and all that at a young age. So and being good at art also, just combining the two was kind of like a no brainer. Um, so I grew up always doing art, loving comic books, and there was a point where I actually quit and stopped.
what?
Yeah, man. I didn't see there. Sometimes when you're in something for so long, you don't really you kind of lose sight of the value of what it brings to just life in general.
Yeah.
Um, I came to I just stopped because I didn't see any growth financially from it. I started thinking to myself like it's kind of a waste of time for the most part.
Hmm.
There's a lot of time that gets put into drawing and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But then it wasn't until I came to the realization that it is a medium like any other, where you can just tell people what, what you tell them. It's like a testimony kind of thing. Things that you're going through are this, it can be the same thing that someone else is going through. When where you found encouragement, another person can find it in that story you wrote. You know, so it brought me back into drawing. I didn't start getting like really good until I'd say like 2010 kind of stuff, when I came back to it. Yeah, man, I've been in love with comics and drawing since I can remember, and now I find purpose in continuing to do it, because it is a medium where I can tell people how to overcome things, or what I'm dealing with. Maybe you guys can read it and give me encouragement, things like that. It's a medium to pour yourself into, help others see things.
Yeah. So you developed as a writer and an artist simultaneously, or did you start one or the other first?
Oh yeah, no, artist definitely first. It
Okay.
was all about just drawing cool pictures, man.
Okay.
In class, dude, I did have a little squad. It was like me and maybe 3 other dudes. We were that outcast squad in school and stuff, just drawing all day. They were always better than me, so it definitely helped me cultivate that more. But it was always about the art first. If I could just draw something cool and someone walks by, dang, that looks pretty dope, man.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Purpose behind it didn't come until I was like 25.
Okay.
So, yeah, writing. I've only been writing for maybe 5 years, like serious writing. So I'm still young at it.
Yeah.
I do a lot of studying for it, but yeah, art definitely came first, man.
So when you say a lot of studying, what kind of studying are you doing?
So I'll read a lot of. Nowadays, I don't read too many comics, because now this is just me. I feel like in today's comic books, they're really just fast, and they don't really. I feel like they lack depth. I find depth in more depth in indie comics than I do the mainstream stuff.
Okay.
If I find a really good indie comic book, I'll read that. Like things, shout out to Wally. Like he recently sent me his digital copies of Akuma. Like things with depth, man, that have deeper messages underneath them. I'll read things like that.
Yeah.
I study a lot of Saga. I don't know if you heard of that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The way they tell their stories is like you're watching a film. You're not actually reading. You're like in there, and it's all about the dialogue, the way they set it up from the page turns. Yeah, man. And then there's YouTube University. There's a lot of good mainstream directors and writers and people who's just been in that side of the industry for a long time. There's lots of tutorials out there, tell you what to avoid, what to go for, and you just implement the things you piggyback off of what they say, and you try to apply it in your own unique way there.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what's one of the first projects, whether it be like an actual comic project or just a piece of art, but what's one of the first things that you finished that like you remember finishing it, and what did you learn from that piece?
Oh man, you can probably still find it now. There's a project that I was working on a while back. It was called Arc. The first one, I think it is still up on Webtoons. Oh man. that's if you guys want to see like when I wasn't too serious, but I was trying to be, and like the development from rough art to what I have now, you can see that. Very dialogue heavy. Like we might as well should have just wrote a book with that one. Yeah, but it's finished. It's finished. It's out there.
Absolutely.
Public eye.
Sometimes you got to fail in front of people. I'm with you. I'm with you, bro.
Probably got 20 views on it. It's out there though.
Yeah, it's out there for sure.
And then I started working on something called Neon Ascender. that was a project that I was working on with someone else. But it kind of fell apart. But it's out there. Both of those you can
That
find.
sounds really familiar though. I wonder where did I guess I must have seen it through you, I guess. I know
I,
I've come
I
across
was
that name.
posting a lot on LinkedIn, a lot on there, and
Okay.
then I mentioned that it is on my Instagram. I did post it just to
Okay.
show people like old project and stuff like that. I did post it and it was in my bio.
Okay. That must have been where I saw it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I've got two projects out there. They're not the greatest, but
But
they
they out there. They
yeah,
out
they're
there.
out there. Yep.
For sure. For sure. So um what has surprised you the most about going from somebody who just enjoys comic books or is enjoying like a story like Saga, right? And then transitioning to trying to do that yourself, right? What's been the most surprising thing about that transition?
The most surprising thing after reading something like Saga and then trying to do it myself. Um, I would have to say what surprised me is how vast the community is.
Mm,
Yeah. Um, I grew up thinking comics was like this niche thing that, nobody likes to read, but, you yourself find it cool.
right.
So,
Right.
you know, um, but it's actually extremely vast.
Yeah.
Especially in the indie space too. That was a surprise also. Like I started and wanted to like pitch to Image Comics and stuff because that's where my brain was, just
Right.
mainstream.
Right.
Then you find this whole other world that of people creating their own comics too, indie world and stuff, not just pitching to mainstream companies, but
Right.
making it on their own.
Right.
So that was definitely surprising, and how involved the community is if you let them. Like they
Mm,
will help you in the indie space, and there are some gatekeepers out there, but for the majority, everybody's really looking out to help you improve.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely realization there.
For sure. For sure. So you mentioned earlier, talking about wanting depth in your stories and wanting, those layers, right? And those underlying messages. And I know, we've had a couple of conversations and um, just around, Christianity and faith, right? And I know you're a Christian, I know you're a believer. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is how has your faith informed, specifically this story,
Mm,
it is Haven with you, but just in general as well. Like how has your faith informed how you navigate your art and you navigate, what you do?
okay. So I
Is that
always,
that's a cool question, right? We good?
hey, we can go there. um, yeah, man. I take my faith very seriously. I'm
Yeah.
not perfect at all. I fail every single day. Um, but I do try to move in that direction.
Yeah.
Um, when I write stories and things like that, there is a verse in scripture that says to consider others. Um, so I apply that when I'm writing. Like I'm not gonna write something that's bashing somebody over the head with like Christian. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Be this or there's no value to you, like what most uh, churches do today, unfortunately. I what I learned in my walk is to love others better. That's how my walk has been, at least. So that's because man, dude, back in the day, I used to be a very self-centered, self-absorbed kind of individual,
Mm.
and it was pretty apparent. I don't know how people dealt with me back then. But when I started reading the word and things like that, and actually trying to apply it, I'm not the same today. So what I've learned through that walk is transformation,
Mm.
and that's what I'm trying to tell in the story. Um, that you can be somewhere, in the deepest hole, in the dark. You can be in the worst of hardships, but there is beauty in the hardships, and there is transformation when you get out of that.
Mm.
That's the underlining message, and it is
Yeah.
ahead with you. I'm finding beauty in the struggles, the hardships, tribulations. That's the depth that I want to bring. I want to tell stories that make people reflect, ask questions. You don't have to accept everything that's in front of you, but I want to at least pull on some thought strings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So when I write like action scenes and dialogue, I make it as realistic as I can. Um, like how people talk today. Uh, we're not gonna I'm not gonna write something where it sounds preachy or anything like that, but I am gonna write something that talks about a a hardship or a triumph in life that we all deal with. You
Yeah.
got to make things relatable. That's how we connect with each other. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's seeing into someone else's life, and seeing if you have some tools that you went through, and giving it to them.
Yeah. 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 No, I think that's good. I think I had a thought about something you were saying. I think it was about the self-centered when you talked about being self-centered. And I think that was a very because you said something earlier as well about service. That's what it was. You were talking about how, when we're performing this art, you might not have said it this way, but when we're doing our art, if we're doing it for other people, it becomes like a form of service for them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think we always think about creatives or creativity in that way. I think we do think about creativity as a very like selfish thing, right? But when you think about it like that, and you think about the way that stories and art has impacted people, and then you can easily do that reframe and say, I'm really not just I don't have to just do this for myself, right? I can do
Right?
this, like you said, considering others and thinking about other people. And even if you take the example of Jesus and you see, him turning water into wine, for example, right?
Mm.
That was for the party. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't for him necessarily, right? And so you can see these acts of creation and these acts of, miracles that are for other people. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just got me
Yeah.
thinking over here.
But a key thing there too, I'm glad you brought that up, is that in that story when he did that, that the host of the party uh, took credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
He said that you saved the best for last, right? And Jesus didn't take credit for the miracle.
Mm.
You know what I
Mm.
mean? So even that, like even if if it is going to be of true service, it has to be of service even if you're not going to be seen. You know?
Mm. Talk to him. Talk
So
to him. That was good. That was a good one.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
man. I just want to point that out because you brought it up. That's a solid one there.
no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I do want to talk to you a little bit about your process.
Mm,
What is it like when you first get an idea?
mm.
What are some of your first um, what are some of your first steps? As you start to, I imagine as an artist first. You starting to sketch. You start. You know what I'm saying. You starting to draw. But what is that like for you?
Yeah, bro, I'm a mess.
Yeah,
Ain't no structure to my process.
for sure. For sure.
If I'm gonna try and summarize how it goes, because if I'm honest, I'm everywhere. Sometimes I'll start drawing before I have a script done, before I even have like a log line concept set up. I'll just start drawing. Uh, but as of late, um, I would say if I'm gonna have any structure, I do at least write the ideas that I want to say in the book, right? Whether that's three
Mm,
sentences, a paragraph, I at least have a message that I want to talk about, right? And then I'll go into writing the script. I never go further than about 4 pages of script. If it's 4 panels, 3 panels, I never go further than that because, at least in my process, I'm always changing my mind a lot. So if I can have at least a solid scene, right, done, then I can move forward from there. And when I
mhm.
say scene, I mean like I'll have chapter one of 7 pages, and it makes sense and it works, right? And it's still structured with the idea that I had written, that first couple sentences, the message, right? And then I'll write the next scene. So it's kind of like I said, man, it's a mess. It's not really structured. It's just going with the flow of how letting the story tell itself for the most part. What I do have for sure is always a beginning, middle, and end. I'll at least have that because you got to know where point A is going to point B. You know what I mean? You got to at
Yeah,
least know that.
yeah,
But the rest of it is pretty much free flow for me.
yeah.
Um, I'll write down ideas. I'll get new ideas as I'm drawing. Um, Depending on where the story goes, when I'm doing some writing, I'll draw that things end up looking different. Like when I first started It Is a Haven with You, it was called Luminous Flux.
Hmm.
It was more on the side of heavy cyberpunk kind of vibes, right? So everybody knows what cyberpunk is. Flying
Yeah,
cars, futuristic stuff, and
yeah, for sure.
darker tones. But as we continued writing scene after scene and things like that, it's it's that, and if you mix high fantasy, the best thing I can describe, like I mentioned on the Kickstarter, is like Hellboy mixed
Hmm.
with Ghost in the Shell, right?
Hmm.
That's just where it went.
Right.
So yeah, there's really no structure. I'll just write an idea and start drawing.
Yeah, and I don't ask that question to get the structure of it. I just know,
Mm,
people have different. So, like for myself, I had an idea for something the other day,
mm,
and I realized that one of the first things that I do is I start thinking about the character. I start thinking about like who is this person that I want to follow, right? And like you said, it's messy. And I'm not even necessarily thinking about like what the even when you say like the beginning, middle, and the end, I usually don't find that until later. I actually a lot of times I'll start writing before I know what the ending is going to be or even what the middle is going to be. I'll just because I got to figure out who is this person, and then once I figure out who the person is, then I
mm,
start to look at like, okay, well, how did this person get like this? What type of world would create this person? You know what
right.
I'm saying? That I'm saying is here.
Mm,
And so yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a. I think there is a structure. It just don't
oh,
look
yeah,
like
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
else's structure. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But I love talking to creatives and I love asking that question because there's so many different ways to get to that story, right?
Mm.
Like one person's beginning doesn't like I know people who they write their last scene first. And that's mind-boggling to me. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
that's a process I do want to just test. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
there are even like novel writers. They'll write
Right.
the last page and go backwards.
Exactly.
That in
Exactly.
my brain is like how.
How did you get there? You know what I'm saying? Um, but that's why I asked the question, because I just know that people do things so differently. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm,
One of the things that I've noticed following you over the years is I I, I find myself respectfully, I find
why
myself
he laughed? If there's like a chuckle in the beginning of it.
I
Go
find
ahead.
myself I find myself like impatient, right? Like I'm seeing the
All
art
right.
and I'm seeing you work it, and I'm like, why is he revising this? Like, why is he going?
Uh,
Like, it
yeah.
looks good. Like, we good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Uh,
put it out. Come on, I want to read the
yeah.
book. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I respect it though because it speaks to just the thought and the care. You know what I'm saying that you put into the work. And so I just wonder if you could speak to, just I guess how you what that means to you, right? Like the thought and the care that you put into the characters and the world and just all those things. Like what is I don't even know what my question is here, but what is your
I think it
what
was,
is that? You know what I'm saying?
all right. So um, the stories. So even just not even comics, just storytelling.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're a storyteller. Um, when you put so much of yourself into something, and then you also put what you believe in into it as well, it's like it's like that's breathing, you
Mm,
know um so you want it to be perfect and exactly what you see in your head and exactly what others hope for,
right.
you know
Right.
so most of the revising and stuff like that came from that,
Yeah.
just wanting to be completely authentic in what I create, but also pleasing to others, right?
Mm,
But there is a danger to that because then you never put anything out. Like what you were mentioning, just put it out. It looks good, man.
yeah.
That is where I'm at right now. It's
Mm,
like I have revised and revised and revised, and you can only revise so much.
yeah.
There comes a point where it's like the message came across well, so just put it out, even if it's not perfect. Put it out because then you can just build on top of that. Uh, it's just like, man, I want to with any story I write, whether it's going to be with It Is a Haven with You or anything in the future, I want these stories to help people. That is what I want to do. And if it means revising once or twice or 3 to 4 times to really be able to articulate the message, um, then I'll do it. Because I want to help people with stories, not just put out something cool.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, like that's just my selfish, like, bruh, I want to
No,
read
and there's
what we
truth in
looking
what
at.
you're
You know what I'm
saying,
saying?
though. There's truth in what you're saying, though. You can't keep revising things, man. You gotta just put it out. There's always that meme and that I always swipe on Instagram and stuff like that. Is like, don't wait for it to be perfect. Just put it out.
Yeah,
You can make it perfect later. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
yeah,
that's everywhere, man.
yeah,
So that's true.
yeah. And I think, I mean, I again, to me, like, creativity is it's a balancing act. It's so
Mm,
much of it is just a balancing act, right? Because I'm working on a novel right now. I'm on the fourth draft of it, and you could do, I mean, I could do hundreds of drafts of this novel. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I just
right.
know I'm gonna want to change this. Oh, this would be better. This could be that. And it's just like you said, you got to get to a point where it's like, okay, it could be better, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been looking at this joint for 6, 7 years now. I look, this got to go. It's, whatever I learn from this,
Yeah.
it's gonna have to go on the next joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
And so I definitely get that and understand that for sure. Um, I do want to talk specifically about It Is a Haven with You. The first question I wanted to ask. So me, I'm a poet. I love poetry. And so when I saw the because what was the title before? Luminous, what
Luminous Flux.
Luminous Flux.
Mm,
When I saw it change to It Is a Haven with You, I said, oh, that's tough.
for sure.
What how did you get to that title for this project?
Um, it was Luminous Flux was. me just trying to draw something cool and then
Mm.
like a little bit of purpose behind it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what that is. um, then you go through things in life and you grow and stuff like that, and then like what we've been talking about all this whole thing, being of service for others. Um, the story became more about others than just looking cool. So it is a haven with you is the character finds strength being in community with others.
Mm.
That's where she finds her ability to do anything, you know. So it is a haven with you. It's like if a haven, if safety and peace and love you find at grandma's house when she's cooking the baked mac and cheese and stuff like that, then that's a haven for you. You know what I mean? That if it's being around your brothers or your cousins, putting on some boxing gloves and just sparring with each other for fun, the community, then that's a haven for you too.
Yeah.
Um, that's where the title switch came from. It's the story changed,
Yeah. Yeah.
the message behind it.
Yeah. This real quick, I wanted to say too, the logo is crazy. And I mean that's the thing, right? The thing is with you, like I say, even with me watching it and saying, like, put the book out, I could also see, oh, but it is getting better though. Like it is improving every time. You know what I'm saying? So
So,
so it's absolutely, respected, and it's dope. Um you want to give do you have like a elevator pitch? Did you I know you gave it a little bit earlier. I just want to make sure everybody hears it, you
yeah,
know.
that's the elevator pitch right there.
Oh, you gave it. We there. Okay, we there. All right, cool,
Yep,
cool,
yep.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that
Yeah, I
I
already said
do
it, bro.
that I do struggle with is the marketing side. All right, that's
Uh
that's my that is the kryptonite. All right, so I'm still trying to memorize my own elevator pitch. I got it written down. You know what I'm saying? And like that is definitely a muscle I'm working. So
yeah.
be patient with me. Have some grace.
Nah,
All
look,
right.
you good. Listen. I don't know if Morgan is still here. I don't know if Morgan is still here, but we can have some conversations about elevator pitches, man.
Oh man. uh, I do want to
Yeah.
give a shout out to who made the logo.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Okay.
that
Okay.
was done by Pez. You can find him on Instagram. I'm always
Oh,
tagged.
Pez. I think, yeah. I know
Yeah,
that
he's
name.
a crazy artist.
Yeah, for sure.
Crazy artist, man. He's done stuff for like He-Man and industry stuff. He's crazy and a really good dude, man. Um, and he did that logo in like a month, man.
Wow.
he
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, so
Yeah.
just want to shout him out there. You can find him on Instagram, all the good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this will be your first Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your how you feeling? What you thinking?
I mean, I have a team, right? I'm publishing through Benbox Comics.
Okay. Shout out to Bent Box. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I met up with the CEO, the owner of it, and we vibed, and
They
I
got some
really
good
like,
stuff over there too.
hey man, and deep messages in their books too, man. If you got benboxcomics.com, their books, some are just one shots, but they have some. Read Blossom. I'm gonna tell you right now, read Blossom. That has a message in it that will just knock you upside the head once you're done reading it. That's a good one. But that's why I did roll with them because their stories are quality stories. I didn't want to just work with somebody that these are cool looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
he's a good dude. He helps me out with his experience in Kickstarter and stuff like that. What to look for, what to not look for. Your cover doesn't look great. Work on it. You know what I mean? Things like that.
yeah,
Good
for sure.
community of people. So I do feel confident. I have people around me that give me advice about it. Wally being one of them as well. I'm confident about it. I don't
Yeah.
expect to do, extreme or anything like that. I'm content. I just want to put out a good story and plant the seed and see where it grows.
Well, I'm expecting everything. I want it all for you, bro. I look. I want the whole thing. You feel me?
For sure.
Um, but yeah, I think when I saw that you was working with Bentbox, I was like, yeah, like that's because I'm trying to think. I supported. I don't think it was Blossom that I supported. It was I can't remember the name of it. The bird joint. It's a
Oh, just read that. Wingless.
Wingless. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes. That was good. That was really good.
yeah,
So yeah, so when I saw that you was rocking with Bentbox, I was like, I don't know, it just felt like your project it just fits with what they've been doing.
for
The
sure.
little that I know about, your project and the little that I know about Bentbox, I just said, yo, I think this is a great fit. And I also thought, yes, this book is definitely about to come out now. So we good. We good.
Right, for sure. All right.
For
Listen,
sure.
listen. All the pages are done. All right. Things are
Yes,
done.
yes.
I'm just painting. I'm on autopilot now. All right.
Come on. Come
So
on. I
check it
love
out.
to hear it.
Right.
I,
When you back the Kickstarter, you're not gonna wait until pages get done. It's gonna be done already. Okay. So you
yes.
get that quick turnaround. You get extra rewards for early backers.
Come on.
Um, the first chapter is going to be free to read on Global
Okay.
Comics with Bentbox. So you'll be able to read it because, I am a firm believer in giving something first. So,
Mm,
first chapter, read it. If you like it, if you like the art and whatnot, back the project. Help
boom.
us keep creating more and stuff like that.
Boom. And so the link is in the description of this video. So you just click on that. It'll take you to the pre-launch page. You can, sign up to get notified. And yeah, that's that. February 1st, it's gonna drop. I'm excited for it. You should be excited for it. And
Right.
it's time. It's time. So before we get out of here, I just have 5 more questions. I call these questions really it's a part of a segment called the one.
Okay.
Um, and so the first question I have is what is one book or comic book that you think everyone should read?
Um, I'm going to give it to what I just mentioned, Blossom.
Oh, Blossom. Okay.
Yeah, that one. You know, the when I look at comics, I do judge them by the cover and stuff like that. And to me, at first, and respectfully, I thought it was going to be more for the kids, But as I read it, and I'm not to spoil too much, there is a profound message in that book. I would recommend everybody to read that for sure.
Yeah. Cause that joint was a really personal story, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I remember because I saw that on Kickstarter, I think. And I thought to myself, for me, even looking at it, I said, yeah, this about to be one of them. I haven't read it, but I could just feel like, yo, this about to be one of them ones. Like this is deeper than
yeah,
just like
yeah,
a kid's, book or something. Like I
for
could
sure.
feel the layers on that joint for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes,
For
sir.
sure. Okay, so Blossom, who wrote that? What's his name?
Fuck, forgot who wrote
My
that.
bad.
That's
My
one
bad, man.
bad.
My bad.
Yo, music, movies, anything.
he
All
said,
right. I'm not gonna remember names. I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
he
Okay.
said,
So
why'd you ask me
let me
that,
be
bro?
on
Come
record.
on, man.
Let it be on record. It's not disrespect to anybody. I'm just bad with that. All right.
No,
So
it's all. I can't remember it either. That's why I asked you. It's all good. It's all good.
inboxcomics.com. Right. You'll see
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Bent box. That's it. Remember that.
Yeah.
Um, what is one piece of advice that you would give your younger self?
Um, speak less,
Hmm.
listen more. You'll find how far ahead in life you can get when you do that. Speak less and listen more.
Yeah. Um, what's one word that you would want to describe your legacy?
One word, man. a tough one. Um,
He's like, I want all the words.
nah. One word to describe my legacy. Um, Man, we might have to come back around with that one. I don't know. That's a hard
We can circle back.
one.
We can circle back.
Yo,
Now I'm scared to ask these last two questions.
no,
Uh,
go ahead.
what's one thing that you would change about your creative journey?
One thing I would change about my creative journey. Um, and I guess I would say taking feedback more seriously.
Mm,
At least in the beginning of this whole thing, I would take feedback, but not as constructively as I should have. And that just taking feedback constructively, even if people mean it with some malice behind it or anything, just
unconstructively.
right. Take it into consideration,
Yeah.
all of it, because
Mm,
there's always some kind of truth behind it, and if you do take it into consideration, you can get ahead pretty quick.
mm, mm. Or even if you don't take like what they're saying, you learn like who to take, criticism from. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't think every criticism has truth to it, right?
Not all
Some
of it.
people, yeah, some people will criticize you because they got some stuff going on with them. You know what I mean? And so being able to recognize, like, okay, yeah, everybody who's saying stuff is not really even really talking to me. To be honest with you, some people be talking, they just be talking to themselves, and they projecting on you, and a lot of different things can happen. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah,
all of it is a part of that learning process, though. You know what I mean?
agreed.
Um, what is what's one thing that you would want everybody who hears or sees this to take away from this interview, this conversation?
One thing to take away: um, pursue your dreams, man. Find out what it is that you have. Try new things if you don't know what it is. Try new things that you ain't even thought of trying. Just jump at it. Figure out what your gift is, and pursue that wholeheartedly. Because if you don't, then we're all missing out on something.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I would say that.
yeah. So let's circle back real quick to our legacy. Do we got one word? Maybe two, three words?
I would say helpful. Helpful.
Helpful. All right, man. Helpful.
Sure.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, um, do you want to give one more plug for the book? Any last thing that you want to say about your upcoming campaign? Like, boom, what you want
Yeah.
to say about it?
There is an animation. All right.
Oh,
Big
bury the
homie,
lead. Let's go.
big homie, Crow Maru. He is on YouTube and Instagram. Um,
Yes, sir.
his work is amazing, and the turnaround time for this dude on animations is unreal. Okay.
Wow.
I have an animation on my YouTube. Same thing, Art of Alex Ortiz.
Okay. Okay.
It's a 1 minute trailer, so you can get a little bit of a feel of the vibe that the book is going to be like. And dude did that animation in like 2 months, man.
Wow.
And it's some quality stuff. So check that out. Like, share, comment, subscribe. All the noise.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And then also, I do want to give you your flowers as well, man. I did read the second book that you sent to me, and it's good, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Character is definitely something that I do see going places. It's an iconic character for sure, man. So
Thank you, brother. I appreciate
good.
that. Man, I appreciate that for sure. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This is we wrapping up another episode of Roland Live. If you enjoyed this, like it, share it with somebody, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, you can. The link is in the the description of this video to my Substack, and you can, become a paid member to the Substack. And I would love to have your support. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Alex, thank you for coming through, brother.
Appreciate
Like
it.
I said, man, I just really appreciate you, and I appreciate, the work that you've been doing. And I was saying it jokingly, I'm impatient about this book coming out, and I really was impatient about the book coming out, but I really do admire and respect the time and the dedication and I see the moments when you say, man, I was up all night working on this. You know what I'm saying? Like I was putting in the time, and I think you can see that in the work. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, I appreciate you, man. Many blessings and success on everything you got going on. I'm excited to support, and I know everybody else will support as well. So,
100%.
For sure. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. We're gonna see y'all soon. Love.
Peace.